All right, we're going to be continuing our work with finding equivalent fractions. We're on page 176 in your Ready New York book. So it says at the top, read the problem below, then explore different ways to think about equivalent fractions. Okay, Kaysen ate 2/8 of an orange, and Trey's orange is the same size. He ate 1/4 of it. Show that the two boys ate the same amount of an orange. Okay, so an important thing is the oranges are the same size. Okay, they're cut into different pieces, different amount of pieces. Okay, this orange was cut into 8 equal pieces, and Kaysen ate 2 of those 8 pieces, right? And this orange was cut into 4 pieces, and Trey ate 1 of the 4 pieces. So it says, look at the model of 2/8. Okay, so we're going to look here. The solid lines divide the circle into fourths, and the dashed lines divide the fourth into half to make eighths. Okay, so if you see these solid lines, see here and here, isn't that the same as what we have here? And this, so it shows fourths. And it's like we took the fourths and cut again to make the eighths, and those are the dashed lines. Okay, now they're also showing it on a number line. So it says you can also use a number line to help you find equivalent fractions. This number line shows both fourths and eighths. Okay, so on the bottom of the number line, we have 8 equal pieces. Okay, so see how it's 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and 8/8. Okay, it can get a little confusing when you have two different fractions that you're plotting on the number line, when you're the different denominators. Okay, with fourths here, some people want to go, this is 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, but remember it has to stretch across the whole. So from 0 to 1, it would be this would be the halfway mark, and then you would cut those in halves, right? So the fourths would be here. It would be 0/4. We'd skip this eighth because an eighth is half of a fourth. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. Can be very tricky on a number line like that. Okay? All right, so this first page on page 176 is really just us using those models. And now we're going to be using those models. We're going to be flipping back and forth and answering the questions on 177. Okay, so let's look at 177. And it says, look at the models and picture it. And that's what we were just looking with the oranges. How do you know that 2/8 of the first model is shaded? So let's look at it. How do we know that this is 2/8? Well, how many pieces are shaded? Out of how many altogether? Exactly. 2 pieces are shaded out of 8 pieces, which is what 2/8 is. All right, so we need to just kind of say that with our words. So let's say 2 pieces are shaded out of 8, I'm going to throw the word equal pieces in all. Okay, and then it says, how do we know that 1/4 of the second model is shaded? Well, let's look. How many pieces are shaded? Out of how many pieces in all? Yep, so let's write that. Okay, I'm just going to come to the second line, so we don't have to. Okay, so 1 piece is shaded out of 4 pieces in all. Okay, nothing so tricky so far, right? We're really just identifying fractions so far. So now it says, explain how the models show that the fractions 2/8 and 1/4 are equivalent. Okay, that word equivalent means equal. So let's look. We have 2/4 in the model, and we have 2/8 in this model and 1/4 here. How is 2/8 equivalent to 1/4? Now, both circles are the same size, right? Just like the oranges were the same size. This one was cut in 8 pieces, and 2 are shaded to show 2/8. This was cut in 4 pieces, and 1 was shaded to show 1/4. But look at, isn't this the same amount of orange? Isn't this the same amount? It's the same shaded amount, isn't it? Okay, so the shaded part's the same, The difference is that this is just cut into more pieces than that. So the fraction's different, okay? So let's say something like that. How do you think we should explain this? Let's say the shaded amount is the same in both models. Good? Okay. So then it says, how does the number line in Model It show that the fractions 2/8 and 1/4 are equivalent? Okay, well, let's look. So see how they're landing? 2/8 and 1/4 are both landing on the same spot on the number line. They're the same distance away from 0. They're the same distance away from 1. So that's the way it's showing that their amount. Okay, so that's the same point on the number line. So let's say that both fractions are at the same point on the number line, so they are equal. Make sense? Okay. So it says complete the sentences to show the fractions of the 2 oranges name the same amount. Am I reading that correctly? Complete the sentences to show the fractions of the 2 oranges name the same amount. It's a very clumsy sentence. Okay, so it says use words. 2/8 is equal to, well, let's go back. 2/8 is equal to, right, 1/4. So they want us to write it word form here, I think, right? Because they have 2/8 in word form and they want us to use words. So 2/8 is equal to 1/4. So you write 4 and a TH, okay? 1/4. 2/8 as a fraction is equal to, now they want to write it numerically. So we're going to write 1/4. You're going to put your 1 over the 4. I have to put it kind of next to because I can't really show fractions this way. All right, it says describe, for number 7, describe 2 different ways to show fractions are equivalent. Okay, so let's think back to how the 2 ways we were looking at. We could use models and we could use number lines, okay? So we can show that it's the same amount shaded in a model or at the same point on a number line, okay? We can show equivalent fractions by making models and shading the same amount, or by showing them on the same point on a number line. It's a lot of writing, boys and girls. So if you need to stop and kind of pause the video and catch up with me, that's perfectly fine. Okay? That's what's kind of nice about doing it on the video. If you need time, you just hit pause. Okay, so now it says draw a model to show 2/3 is equal to 4/6. Okay, I'm going to use my little shape bar, I think. Let me see if I can get a nice little rectangle here so it'll help me. I'm going to try to make a little double decker and I'm going to get a line. I like to do it this way so that I get 2 perfectly good equal bars. So now that this hole equals this hole. Okay, this one looks a little bit better, but okay, so we want to show 2/3 equals to 4/6. So how about we make this top one show thirds? So I'm not going to cut all the way through. I'm just going to cut this to show 2/3. So how many pieces will I need? Yeah, I need 3 equal pieces and 2 will be shaded, right? So let's kind of divide that up. I think I do better with my line tools than my try to draw freehand. Okay, and let's shade in 2 pieces. Okay, if you want to write your unit fraction, oh, I'm still on a line, aren't I? Okay, let's try that again. Let me make it a little bigger so I won't be coloring all day. So this will be 1, 2 equal pieces. All right, I'm going to go get my line again. And the bottom, we need to show 4/6. So I'm going to start with my thirds. I should be on black. I'll start with my thirds, right? And then if I cut my thirds in half, I should have 6 equal pieces. And I'm going to go back and color now. So we had drawing tool, get a little bigger, and green. Okay, so if we had 2/3 at the top, 2 of 3 equal pieces, and now I need 4/6, so I need to color 4 pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4. If I were doing this with my pencil, I would put my unit fractions in. Okay, so were we able to show that 2/3 is equal to 4/6? Is this true? 2/3, 4/6, same shaded amount, right? Okay, so now let's look. It asks us to do it on a number line as well. Let me just make sure I have the right tool. I'm going to choose that. Okay, so right now the number line has 0, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. Okay, so 1/3 would land here, right? Now we want to show that we can make, we're looking for another fraction equivalent to 1/3. So what if we cut all of these in half and made 6? Let's see what equivalent fraction we can make. So if I cut this third in half, and I cut this third in half, and I cut this third in half, then this is, I'm going to get my typing tool, make it a little easier on myself. So then this would be 0/6, right? Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal pieces now. This would be 1/6. This would be 2/6. Oops. This would be 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, and 6/6 for one whole. I should make that font a little bit smaller so it fits in a little bit better. It's not perfect. Maybe if I move it over a little bit. So this would be 0/6, 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, and 6/6. Okay, so we want to find an equivalent fraction to 1/3. So let's get a color. Let's make a little dot on 1/3. Okay, so what fraction shares that same spot on the number line? 2/6, right? So 1/3 is equivalent to 2/6, which we can see here, right? This was 1/3, and these 2/6 are equivalent to this 1/3. Two different ways to see it. All right, I'm going to end the video here, and next time we'll practice on 178 and 179. Thanks for watching.